I'm going to start by looking at Ethereum from a weekly perspective and where this rally originated. It started with a bullish outside week of middle of July, and it's followed through over the last 2 weeks. It's rose over 70% in this particular time, which is a notable advance, and I'm going to show that a little bit more on the daily chart. You'll see we got through this price resistance here with this move, and it's been an impulsive move. You can tell on the weekly chart. Going to the daily chart, you'll see here I talked about we're up almost 76%. Now, when you put that across, you'll see that almost reaches what we saw in May, where we had an 82% move over 21 days, and here also we got up over 100 though. So, but when you zoom in on or zoom out and you take a look at other highs, you'll see that here we came to that's 75% area was 74, and we had a pause. Here we had it again. We had an important top here. We came close, also then led to a lot of price volatility and some weakness there. So we're at a point in terms of the gain over the last 21 days of being a precedent for some type of selling pressure. We'll also notice that on the daily RSI, we did reach a notable overbought signal, which correlates very closely with what we saw here. Okay, so that tells you also the type of buying pressure that we've seen in the cryptocurrency. Moving forward, really one of the things that stand out is we're at the 50% retracement, just like I said we were with Bitcoin. This area of support, which comes in around 2,900 to 3,050, is where I would like to see it hold through any corrective process. Ideally, it would be in time versus price. If it fails, then it introduces a different scenario for Ethereum. At that point, we could really fall down into 2,300, 2,400, where we have the upper trend line of the descending triangle come in. We also have the ascending trend line from 2020 coming in here, and then you'll also have this high from July 7th, which comes in at 2,411. So there's a ton of support there, but that is not a bullish scenario. In my opinion, if we fall back there, that will mean that this rally is completed and that it's not sustainable, and then we're looking probably at a new correction low. So it's really critical that we hold this 2,900 to 3,050 area through any consolidation or corrective process on a daily closing basis. Intraday declines below, are irrelevant. On the upside, you'll see we have the 61.8% retracement at 3,350. That's the next target, but I see that being of limited resistance in terms of this rally. I think as long as we're above here, Ethereum is free to test the all-time high at 4,384, and not really other resistance than that. And then we could talk about looking at new all-time highs after that. But at the end of the day, this has been an impulsive move off the lows. There's no denying it. We see it in terms of the gain we've had over the 21 days in terms of the RSI. So to dismiss this as just a corrective bounce is a mistake. This is legitimate, and we're one step away from touching the all-time high, really, in terms of what lies ahead in resistance. So I would be patient here, let a corrective process unfold, and then use any type of consolidation high as an opportunity to add to your position.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's crazy how Ethereum looks, right? Because Ethereum looks like the most bullish coin right now out of the top 3 or the top coins, especially when considering the area. I mean the resistance ahead, and kind of like other factors. Because I do believe that it's a little bit of a time for Ethereum to retrace a little bit, right? I mean, whenever we look at the MVRV 30-day ratio, we see that basically those investors that bought Ethereum within the last 30 days are sitting in average at a profit of 26.58%, right? So it's about time for a little bit of a spike in profit taking, right? that could potentially lead to that correction. But whenever you look at other on-chain metrics, right, so such as transaction history, you're able to see that even though investors who bought Ethereum within the last 30 days are sitting at significant profits, even if there is a spike in profit taken, it seems like the downswing or the downside potential for Ethereum will be capped, right? Especially around this $3,000 level, where basically 300,000 addresses bought 1.38 million Bitcoin, right? I mean, Ethereum. So, I mean, if let's say Ethereum is able to violate this area of support right here, then it still has significant support between $2,600 and $2,900, basically, right? I mean, in between here, we have around 1.2 million addresses that bought 2.5 million Ethereum. So the 2,760 support wall will potentially, hold any selling pressures in that we could see, if investors decide to actually realize some profits, right? Now, on the other side of the coin, right, when looking at the resistance ahead, there's really not that much resistance, as Sheldon said, for Ethereum to actually go up and tag the recent all-time highs. I mean, the only considerable area of supply that we could see actually sits between 3,300 and 3,500 bucks, where you have around 500,000 addresses that bought roughly 800,000 Ethereum. That area right there of supply, the supply barrier, may have the ability to absorb some of the buying pressure seen recently, but I don't like, when you compare resistance versus support, it is, it is, I don't know, it's kind of like, it's kind of out of the blue to say that this supply barrier will contain the buying pressure that we have seen recently, especially with the amount of support that Ethereum has underneath. So if Ethereum is able to break out of this, out of 3,500 bucks, basically, we could potentially revisit the all-time high at $4,400. But I gotta say, right, from a technical perspective, I mean, I gotta repeat this. I mean, I said this about Bitcoin, and I said the same thing about Ethereum. Uh, from an on-chain perspective, you're gonna have like mixed signals, right? As we're looking with the MVRV 30D, which is sitting at significant profits right now. Then you look at that transaction history, and it shows you that Ethereum faces little to no resistance ahead on the move up, right? But from a technical perspective, you had Ethereum breaking out of this descending triangle, right? It has gone up, I don't know, within the past 3 weeks, I believe like nearly 80%. With 80% profits, right, meeting the target of this kind of like descending triangle, right? And then you're starting to get a sell signal you got a sell signal a few days back by the TD sequential indicator on the daily chart, as well as on the 12-hour chart. So it does seem like a spike in profit taking is coming soon, but based on transaction history, that downside potential will be capped at around $2,700. Yeah, basically between this area right here, between 2,900 and 2,700 bucks. So if based again on the on-chains and the technicals, if Ethereum were to come down all the way here, I could potentially I would potentially go long on this and maybe establish a stop loss around 2,500 bucks. And yeah, and go and target basically the all-time high at $4,400, right? Based on what's happening from an on-chain perspective. But I mean, the way, at least within the cryptocurrency space, the way we have had capitulation is by significant events that happen outside of what people can control, right? So if, I don't know, China bans Bitcoin again, or maybe now that the United States is trying to pass this amendment to this bill that that everybody has been talking about for the past few days. Let's say that bill passes and Ethereum is deemed a security and everything on top of it, right? Then of course we could potentially get that capitulation and that the bearish trend will potentially continue. But if nothing so significant happens, then I don't see Ethereum coming lower than $2,700. I mean, at least for the meantime. I don't know about what you're seeing from a shorter time perspective, Akash.
Yeah, for me, from a short term, I'm kind of leaning bullish here on Ethereum, despite the sell signal here, which I think is kind of getting invalidated right now, and the sell signal on the daily time frame, which looks more grim. So the reason for my bullishness is because of how accurately this swing, the range high has been holding up the price, right? So this kind of price action kind of leads me to believe that there's a massive move happening here in either direction. It could be lower or higher. Just take this off. Yeah. So this could be something like this here, or something like this that leads to a sudden move, a sudden breakout kind of thing in either directions. And what's interesting about this level is that it coincides with the 3000 psychological level. So I am bullish on Ethereum because of the way this is this has been holding up, and this particular demand zone here, which ranges from 3.2 to 3.4, is the most immediate hurdle that Ethereum needs to surpass to hit 4K, right? And the intermediate level at 3716 is like the only thing that is keeping it from hitting another psychological level, which is 4000. So I am confidently bullish on Ethereum. But if we do break this 3000 level here, I'm looking at a 2742. And in a worst case scenario, I don't see it go below this here, which ranges from 2.4 to 2.6. Anything beyond this is like, it's not going to happen. Like, I don't see it happening anytime soon, right? I'm going to be bullish on Ethereum as long as it stays above the 50 fib.
Which is basically above 2,350, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, but what if it breaks 2,550? I mean, 2,350.
Yeah, so that would signal that this was a retest of the range high and an attempt to break above it, which failed. And now we're heading lower, possibly to retest, make another one of these taps here at the range low, which comes around 1700, which is highly unlikely considering what's happening with Ethereum and the ecosystem, the London hard fork, and the the change in the fees and everything fundamentally, not from an on-chain perspective, but from a community perspective, it's really bullish for Ethereum. So I don't see it happening anytime soon. The miners are back. They've set up shops again. So yeah, I'm bullish on Ethereum.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it seems like everybody here is bullish on Ethereum. I do gotta say that of course the the level at which the addresses that acquire Ethereum within the past 30 days, I mean, they're sitting at an average profit of 26.50, I mean 26.58%, sorry. And that's a little bit scary because usually around this level, between 26 between 26 and 30% profits, the NVRV has managed to time local tops in within Ethereum's trend. So, we may have a spike in profit taking, but the downside potential seems limited up to now. I also believe that the downside potential is capped around $2,500 maximum. But from there, and there is a little to no resistance ahead, right? Also considering that the supply crunch that Ethereum is going through, right, where a bunch of tokens are being burned after the recent London hard fork, then it does seem that all of this is creating the conditions for Ethereum to continue rising, right? I mean, when we compare
Ethereum to Bitcoin. I mean, the run up that they had, you know, especially after breaking above the 2017, 2018 all-time high, it does seem like Ethereum may have a little bit more room to go up at least to $10,000. So that's my really bullish target, but we'll just have to wait and see whether it manages to kind of like break above that level, that supply barrier that we were talking about from an on-chain perspective, right? That sits between 3,300 and 3,500. A clean break of that level, then you could potentially have Ethereum testing $4,400. But from a technical perspective, the only thing that we're waiting for is for another green candlestick to trade above that recent sell signal that it gave on the daily chart actually. So if Ethereum kind of like breaks above, I believe the level is yeah, it's $3,200. I mean, from a technical perspective, as for me, basing myself on the TD sequential indicator, that's a signal that it's just going to continue going up, and then you could potentially target $4,400. But yeah, there is consensus here, and it does seem that Ethereum looks bullish. But if you like this analysis, well, you should subscribe and pay attention to the next analysis that we're going to be bringing in this channel.